Hello, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I don't know what I'm doing. I drove to Mont Balain, which is the biggest mount in the area where I live, and I was hoping for colors, but the trees are completely bare. I mean, there's still some colors in town where I live, but it's the end of the season, and I don't know, I decided to keep driving on the dirt road. And you can see there's a whoa. There's a little bridge over there, and there's a nice little waterfall. I was hoping for a bit more colors. I don't know. I'll go check out the waterfall. I know there's a little section that walks around here, and there's a bigger one. Let's go check it out, and I might actually head back to the car and go to a different location altogether. So, let's hope I get one good image of I don't know what, so we'll see what happens today. So I was going to go to the car, but decided to stop here real quick because there's a nice tree, and I took a picture of this tree a couple of years ago, but like I like the shape of it, but it wasn't. I was on the other side, and this is basically the same idea. It's basically just, the tree is the subject, and then on the bottom it's just the rapids. No long exposures. I'm trying to get all the droplets, but it's just a bit difficult because the high dynamic range. You got the background that's all in shade, but the light is actually the sun is actually hitting that tree, and then obviously I have to bracket with the water, the bright water. So I'm using the polarizer to try to cut down on the glare. It doesn't look like it's doing much, but yeah. So I'm taking faster speed for the water, and then the shade, another exposure for the tree, and then they blend all together. I'm just taking a whole bunch of exposures for the water, trying to get some nice action in the water. So this might be a good shot. So a bit unexpected, but I think it'll be good. So yeah, here's the image.
Well, I shot around 300 exposures just to get the perfect action shot of the water, and I did use a bit of an unusual crop for this, a 16 by 10. I don't usually use that type of format for a vertical crop, but it fits this image, and I'm really pleased with the results. So after that shot, I went back to the car, drove another half hour to a bigger and better waterfall, which had less of these bare trees and more conifers, which was a lot more inspiring.
Alright, so I made it to the waterfall, Downhill. It's right behind me. The massive waterfall is like basically water just around this little island here. So eventually I'll be shooting the waterfall, but right now I'm shooting this tree. There's like this conifer that's growing out of this wall, this rock wall, and I just like the textures on the rock and the lines, and yeah, it's really neat. So I'm using my telephoto. I'm zoomed in at 300 millimeters. I'm just using, the cracks and all the rock formation, just trying to make it nice and neat. There's one crack that's coming from the left, and it's like pointing all the way to the top of the tree. So I really like that. I'm just using that line for the composition. I don't know, it's a really full composition. Let me show you the back of the camera. I'm kind of in a predicament if I'm doing a landscape or a portrait shot for this. I'm not too sure. I'll take both of them and I'll see once I get back home, but so far it's a good start, and finger crossed for sunset.
I really enjoy this image because it's unique and it's not something I usually go for, so I'm really glad I took the time to capture this image. And please don't forget to like this video if you are enjoying it. I forgot to press record on my recorder and the audio was completely useless and unusable because I was so close to that big waterfall. So basically here I was just explaining that I was shooting at the opposite direction of the waterfall because I found a nice little grouping of trees that I really like. And let me just explain to you, back on the vlog, my thought process with this image.
So here's my composition here, and this is the cluster of trees I was talking about. This is basically the main tree that caught my attention, and then there's one that looks like it right here, and then the one right there. And then I kind of like the little dots of colors here, and there's also some colors up there. At first I didn't want to include the sky, but if I did that, I would still have some spots I would have to clone out, and I feel like it wouldn't look good and natural because it's basically a tree line, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to include some of the skies, and because I had to include some of the sky, I do have emptiness on each side of these tree clusters. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, if I'm going to like it or not. It's a very complicated composition. Basically, I have to be really careful. I might zoom it out just a bit, just because I want some room to crop afterwards. Because it's hard to see all the branches and to see what I want and what I don't want on each side of the frame. I'm also bracketing my images for the sky. There's a bit of blue and white in the sky right now, so it's not that bad. And I do have a bit of sliver of the river down here, which kind of adds to the image but doesn't overwhelm it. Alright, so I'm finally shooting the waterfall, and I'm not shooting this big section here. I'm shooting a smaller section over there. I got the tripod with the center column all the way up because I'm trying to include these black rocks over here. And if I don't put my camera high enough, then I kind of lose sight of those rocks. The reason why I like those rocks so much is sometimes the water comes over these rocks and it creates a nice cascade. So it's just a really nice feature of the river, and I'm just placing that yellow tree behind it, so that's why I'm right here. But yeah, that's basically my shot, is those nice cascades with that yellow tree, and then obviously the far background, I'm just excluding and including the trees I want in the image. I'm just being really cautious about the background. And then all I have to do is just take a whole bunch of different exposures to get that perfect cascade, and that's the shot.
If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe would really mean a lot to me. It's a simple click or tap, and it basically informs me that what I'm doing is entertaining, and it motivates me to keep doing these types of videos. If you don't want to subscribe, just hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it.
Wow, was I ever lucky. Sunset is right now, and I got the best of the light, and I got the composition. I don't know why I do this. I guess that's the type of shooter I am. I don't plan my compositions in advance, and I just wing it. So it works most of the time, but sometimes I really regret it. Luckily today, I didn't regret it because we did get some nice clouds. I'm really, really happy we got the clouds right where I wanted them. Like, the best clouds were literally right where I wanted. So my thought process was I was running all over the place trying to find a composition. I didn't know what time it was. I didn't even know that sunset was going on really. And I'm like just walking on this big surface. I'm trying to find the composition, and I didn't there's no good foreground down here. So the composition, if you just cut the composition where the water is, then it's just this big white mess and it doesn't look good. So finally I tucked in to this little section here, and it has a nice wet rock that's like all black. So it kind of does like a triangle in the bottom of the frame. So it's kind of like my foreground. So I got the triangle, and then I have some nice cascades here on the side, on the left side. And then I had some nice wispy clouds right above the island here. And then all the water. Like, oh, was I ever lucky to get a composition with the light, because as soon as I found the composition, I took probably 4 exposures for the sky, and those were the best exposures, and then it was over. So now all I'm doing is trying to get, take different shutter speeds for the waterfall, and then I'll decide once I get back home. But oh man, was I ever lucky, eh? Wow. All right, so now I'm just gonna finish up with this shot and pack up, and then I'll head back home.
Well, like I said in the vlog, I was so lucky. The sky looks amazing, and I nailed that composition at the last minute. If you want to see me risk everything to capture one of my best waterfall photos, click or tap on the video here, and don't forget to subscribe if you did enjoy it. I'd be really grateful. And until next time, God bless.